So for like the past 2 months, maybe I've gotten into the hobby of reading. These are all the books I've read in 2 months, maybe. I feel like this probably equates to like the Bible, maybe a little bit. Oh Lord, maybe a little bit more. But oh God, I'm dropping books. But anyway, I want to rate and rank all the books that I've read. A lot of them are really interesting, and I don't want to spoil any. I'm going to do it as we go along. If you read books, you probably have read all these books because they're not very, you know, different. I guess not yet, but yeah. Okay, I gotta lower the camera. So right here is where I'll be doing all the stuff, and I have all these right here. Okay, these two, in fact, I haven't actually finished. So these ones are going to the side right there. Hold on. There's about 8 books. All of them are kind of classic literature. That's what I'm into. Like classic literature, probably before the 70s. All these books are kind of before the 70s. My feet are in this. Hold on. Feel a lot more comfortable. Okay. Anyway, all these books are kind of before the 1970s. This one's from 1892, I think. Anyway, I keep blaring it out. Okay, I'll start from, I guess, the lowest. I don't know. Maybe I'll rank them as I go. I don't know. Alright, I want to start out with this Fahrenheit 451. It's a little bit misleading because it looks like it's a lot, but it actually ends. Um, it ends right here. So out of all this book, there's like this much of just like bull crap. I'm not reading all that. Basically, it's about like this guy who lives in this world where the government just wants people to be happy instead of, have cognitive thought or anything like that, and just kind of just live in like a perpetual state of just numbness because it's just like every house is like a bunch of TVs and stuff like that. And there's this one guy who's a firefighter, and firefighters used to put out houses. Now all the houses are fireproof, and now they just burn books, and books are like the main thing to be burned because I don't know, they differ in opinion. They're just, yeah, I don't want to. You guys probably already know. If you're watching this video, you know what this book is. So I don't know. I kind of thought the ending was a little bit rushed. I mean, if you know Ray Bradbury, you know his endings are always like kind of insane. But this one felt weird. I don't know. I didn't hate this book though. This was actually a really good book. Got it for Christmas. It was pretty good. I'm just gonna put it in the center. All right, that's where it's gonna start. Okay, number two. This one's having some discourse, especially right now. I read it like probably 2 weeks before everyone else started talking about it because of the movie and other things like that. It is Animal Farm. This book was by George Orwell, who's one of my favorite authors. I've read two of his major books. I want to read like his letters and essays and stuff like that. He's really cool. It's about like this farm, right? And there's this guy named Farmer Joan, I believe so. Is it Joan? Mr. Jones, something like that. And these very intelligent animals overthrow him and start running their own farm. The thing is, there's two types of pigs. There's Napoleon and there's Snowball. And Snowball is like kind of like he's a good guy, I guess, in a sense. And then Snowball is Napoleon is he's a dictator basically, and he kind of basically enslaves all the animals into like this dictatorship. And at the end, they have like this rule where they don't talk to people at all. And at the end, they start looking like people. Not literally, I think. I think it's just because pigs and people kind of look alike, but also symbolic of how like people are pigs. I'm not explaining it good. My mind is 1,000 miles an hour right now. It's basically saying like the pigs or like the leaders, the rulers of like this supposed utopia are run with their enemy. That's what it's trying to say. I'm gonna probably put it probably right about here. So best, worst. I'll put that here. I think it's in front of this one because this one is good. This is like the middle ground. This one's pretty good. I like this one a little bit better though, just because it's more memorable, and I think the story is pretty good. I didn't even really read it on a book. I read it on like a school computer. So yeah, I probably didn't get like the full experience, but it was still cool. Might as well get the small books out of the way to begin with. Okay, The Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Gilman. This book is about like this woman who's going through postpartum depression and bipolar disorder, except she doesn't really know that. It's not really said. They just say that she's sick with the sickness. Her husband says she's sick. Her brother-in-law says that like her husband and her brother, who's also they're both pharmacians, no, not pharmacist. Physicist. No, physician. Oh, okay. I'm an idiot. Anyway, so they both kind of are just like, nah, you're fine, girl. You're good. And she starts seeing this wall. She has to live in like this house that they're kind of renting, kind of almost. They're kind of living in it for a bit. And this wall has like it was used to be a nursery, and it has like this very ugly wallpaper to it, and she hates it at first, but then she starts seeing it move and change and like contort basically in a weird way. I'm not going to spoil a lot because it's a very short book. I finished this in maybe a day, but you'll like it. I liked it. I liked it enough to get a copy. So, but just because it's so short, I'll probably put it like uh right here for now. Obviously, worst to best. I don't think any of these books are actually bad. Maybe like 7.5 through 9 is like the range. Nothing is really so terrible that it's like below a 5. Okay, this book is so cool. I love it. The Strangers is about a guy who kind of lives his life differently. I'd say he's really apathetic. He just doesn't really give a fuck. The first like page in this book is insane, and it kind of foreshadows the entire or what's it called? It gives it tells it basically is like this is what this book's gonna be like, by the way. And I'll read it to you now. Mama died today, or maybe yesterday. I don't know. I got a telephone from home. Mother dead. Mother deceased. Funeral tomorrow. Faithfully yours. That doesn't mean anything. Maybe it was yesterday. This guy just like don't really give a fuck. I don't. And he basically has like a bunch of friends who are kind of, all objectively pretty bad. He has like this. Well, they're his friends, but like he just doesn't really care. He's friends with like this pimp who like beats women, and he wrote a letter. I can't really get into a lot of it because I want to kind of savor this. I want you guys to read it yourself. But the gist is he kills somebody. Lot leading up to that, not a lot, but stuff leads up to that, and they don't really charge him for killing somebody. More or less, just how he lives his life. You know what I mean? Like they're not like, oh, you're bad because you killed somebody. They're like, oh, you're bad because you're different than me. You think differently than me. You feel differently than me. And that's what this book's really about. Albert Campus. I tried to read The Myth of Syphilis. Scared the shit out of me. I maybe I'll go back to it. I borrowed it from my friend. I'll put that about right here. This is like the order right now. So worst to best. Hold on. I don't even want to talk about this book. This book's. You know what my of Mice and Men is. You know why this is so sad. It's a really good book. It didn't even really feel like a book. It felt like a movie. Like the way that Steinbeck really says his words. It's very simple, but it's like, you can see that, in your head very vividly. A lot of these books are like the same, but this one was the most vivid for me just because I don't know. It reminded me a lot of my cousin. His name is Isaac. He has Down syndrome himself, and he's like, no joke, one of my favorite cousins. I love him so much, and just I don't know, just it's a really sad book. The ending is just, it's really good though. It's basically about these two people who one of them is disabled and then one of them isn't, and they're trying to find places to work, and their dream is to own a farm where they can live and own rabbits and alfalfa and other things like that. And so when they're that close to their dream, something really, really, really bad happens, and I can't spoil it because you have to read it. But if you've read it, yeah, I'll just put that probably at the front for now. I actually really like this book. It was really good. John Steinbeck is really good. I want to read East of Eden and Grapes of Wrath. Those two I want to read. My grandma probably has that, but I don't know. Okay, I'm about to ruffle some feathers here. You just have to understand me, understand where I'm coming from. I'm gonna turn it around, and please do not comment to kill myself, me to kill myself, please. Just, I didn't really like it that much. The Metamorphosis. It's about this guy named Gregor Samus, and he basically turns into a bug inconspicuously. And he's kind of the breadwinner of the family. He kind of funds their entire life, the apartment that they live in. He has a really high paying job, and it's just how they slowly just are more and more fed up with him as a bug. He can't communicate. He eats garbage basically, and he's a little bit filthy, but that's not really his fault because his family doesn't bathe him. He's basically locked in a room. They turn his room into like a storage area, stuff like that, and at the end he just kind of curls up and dies. And then the family moves on. They all get jobs, and then they prosper without him, and they kind of just forget him, and they kind of use the fact that he was like a like they at first they kind of treated him like how they would have, like he's our bug, but he's still our son, probably, right? And then as the book goes on, they start to rationalize it more and be like, well, he's not really our son. He doesn't act like our son. He doesn't even talk to us. This guy's not our son. And then eventually his sister, who's the one really taking care of him, is all like, you need to get rid of it, like kill it. Not kill it, but get rid of him. It's a sad book. Franz Kafka is like super interesting to me right now. I'm trying to read all his short stories. I read part of The Burrow. I read like 3 pages in. I want to finish that. But this book, it was whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I just expected more. If I expect more out of something and it isn't like, the most amazing thing ever, I'm just kind of like, oh. But it was not a bad book. Like, I'd recommend this book to you, even though I just spoiled it. But yeah. All right, this one's gonna kind of be hard. Right there. I'm thinking right there. Ignore this is I don't flip that. Yeah, probably right there is probably good. Okay, hold on. This one's not really a book, more or less a comic. But if you know what it is, oh lord. This book, and the thing is, I don't really cry. Okay, if you know me, I'm not a really crier, and it's not even like a masculine. Oh, I'm so fucking masculine. It's just like I don't know. I just I get sad through like I feel it in here. It's not like I don't get sad. I don't know. Just you get it. This book made me cry. I'm not kidding. Like this book is so sad, and it's probably because I love old people, and so when I saw this two couple, I was like, oh yeah, I love them. It's just what happens when you trust your government too much, I guess. I really recommend you buy it because it's really yeah, sometimes they have full pages where it's just black or like an entire thing, but it's just about this like sweet old couple and nuclear war happens and they start like having to barricade themselves in their home and they're kind of just like it's okay, the government's gonna save us. Look at that guy. You think he's gonna save you? Hell no. Really sad though. This book like moved me a lot. I'll just say that. I'll probably put it right there in the center, just because these ones have more of like an intellectual impact on me. I think so do these. All these ones do, but this one was emotional. Same with this one, but this one was just really well written. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I'll. Nah, nah, nah. Oh shoot! I'm spoiling the last book. Okay. All right, last book I'm going to be reviewing. Um, this is one of my favorite books. This is what got me into this. Okay, I brought it from my friend Taylor, and I just ever since then I've been like, okay, more, 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 more. 1984. I know it's basic. I know. But it's just, Lord, this is a good book. This is why George Orwell is like one of my favorite authors. Even though he only has like two hits, two actual books. I mean, his other ones are books too, but they're like more nonfiction. These ones are like his fiction ones. Uh, really, really, really good. If there's one thing I could say, it's that the font changes. Look at this. Like it changes throughout the book. Hold on. Do you see that? Look at this. And then look at that. That is two different fonts. And that throws me off guard. But I think it's because it's yeah. It only changes fonts when he starts reading the book, like the book in the book about the history of Oceania. But still throws me off. Anyway, this is where this one will go. This is the best one. I love this book. Alright, and then this is my order. This is from best to worst. And not even saying that any of these are bad. This is like pretty good. This is like really great. 9 out of 10, like 9.5 out of 10, 9 out of 10, like 8.5 out of 10, 7, no, not like 7, like 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, like 7.9 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10. That's what I'll rate them. And it's not even like a dig on the author. Like all these books are great and really good. And even though I spoiled it, there's still so much I didn't even say because I just didn't want to spoil too much. But if you want to read these books, highly recommend. Recommend. Very awesome. Yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. I hope you liked this video. Hope you liked my review. See you guys later.